Okay, Ron, so you understand what's going on here. The ANSI and CSA standards require that you receive familiarization training in addition to the general training. I know what you're thinking, I've already done all this, but what we're doing here is just familiarizing you with this unit because you haven't actually operated this type. It's actually a little simpler really than the one you have operated, but it's just different. Okay, so all we're going to do is just roll over it and just, check out what is different about it, make sure you understand that, and if operationally there's anything different about it control-wise, we'll just get you to use it and make sure that you can actually, drive this thing safely because, like I say, it is slightly different from the one you originally got trained on, okay?
Okay.
Hey Ron, so I see the scissor you were previously trained on was an engine-powered unit. Pneumatic tires. Obviously this one's a little different, a little. Electric powered, solid slab type unit. So now, have I got your name right just for this sign-in roster? Is that how you spell your name?
Yes.
Okay, and company's good. And okay, so equipment type, date and time, okay. Okay, great. Now I'll just fill this out from my trainer's log. Right, so here's our weather-resistant compartment. I always feel compelled to tell you that it's weather-resistant, not weatherproof. Right, these things get soaked, but in a nice plastic bag like this. Okay, this is what we should find it. This is what we want to see. There's our ANSI manual of responsibilities. All right, that's got to be in there. And there you'll notice is not just a manual, but the manufacturer's specific manual for this actual unit. Sometimes you'll see something like this, which is just a general safety manual. You see these all over the place, but this is the one you need. This one actually is specific to this unit. So leafing through this, you want to see if there's anything that, there's all the decals, right? Nothing there that really is different than yours. Now, here's the thing. This one's battery powered, and we'll pull the batteries out and have a look at them. So it's going to have decals and things about the batteries, and I just showed you how to put it on charge and all that type of thing. So one of the things here, yeah, you see under batteries, it tells you that the batteries exhaust hydrogen, right? And that, when you put them on charge, it should be in a ventilated area, meaning somewhere where that hydrogen won't build up, right? Hydrogen is flammable, right? So if it is allowed to mix up with the air and collect, and it meets an ignition source, like a spark or a flame, somebody's welding, who knows, you're on a construction site, right? That will ignite. If you're ever leaving it indoors, you want to be concerned with, okay, could the hydrogen build up in here? And, if it could, then, make sure the area is ventilated, and that could mean just leaving a window or door open, or maybe there's ventilation fans in a charging area, what have you. Anything in there you don't understand, right? You either come and see me, right, or your supervisor, right? Don't be driving these if you don't know. That's why we do this, right? Okay, Ron, the controls on this one are slightly different than the model you were trained on. This one here, especially the drive controller, the function enable is on this trigger right here, right? On the one that you learned on, it was a button on the side here that you had to hold, right, to make sure it would work. This is actually easier, right? You just squeeze that. It's like the dead man pedal on a boom lift. Okay. So it's your function enable. Nothing will work if you push it without that. It's just and like before, hold to run. Right, comes back. Yep. Steering is like it was on the last one. Thumb toggle here. Just got to squeeze that before you can move. Okay. Also on the other one, I noticed the one you were originally trained on. The horn button, which is here, was on the side as well. Yes. Pretty minor thing, but it's good to know where it is. All right. Okay. Other than that, you probably recognize the rest of these controls. You can see when it's switched in that mode. See how it's showing the unit going forward and backward? If you push the control, it'll drive forward and backward, right? And if you're in that mode, now that operates the platform up and down, right? Okay. And here we have kind of your speed grade mode, if you will. When you're on flat level ground, the switch is down. Right, and then when you're going up a grade, it's almost like gearing down into low gear. It just puts the unit in a higher torque mode, higher power for just climbing grades, right? And proportional control, right? The further you push this forward, the faster it's going to go. That's more or less the same. And the steering, like I say, is the same. Battery charge level. Other than that, everything is exactly the same. Just the only difference is that function enable is here now, and your horn is now there. Okay. All right, we'll just put this back up there. Okay, Ron, on this end, here's your lower controls, right? Only difference being on the last machine you're at, they were on the side, right, where the emergency lower switch was. But here they're just on the end. So it's the same idea. You have your key switch here, right, for base and platform. Actually, this is your enable here. You have to actually hold that key while you want it to go up. Right? There's your up and down there, and that's all you can do from the base here is up and down. Can't drive it forward and back, just like the other one. But you do have to hold this key in the on position. That's kind of your dead man, you know, your function enable, right? Okay. And of course the stop button is there as well. Here's your charger on this one. Again, the charger on the one, actually the other one didn't have a charger, did it? It was engine powered. So, you know, so we have a plug here. And that's going to get plugged into basically a wall socket. Probably you need an extension cord, you know, to run out to this machine and plug it into recharge, because again, on the engine powered one you had, it's just runs on gasoline, right? Actually, I think it was diesel, the other one. But this one's electric, so it needs to be charged up, right? So we'll plug that in when we leave and just make sure it's charged up for the next person, or maybe it's you that's going to use it tomorrow. And while we're at this end, right, we've got our freewheel mechanism here. Like this would be something that you'll notice, you probably won't see this, but when you drive, when you activate the drive, see how these pins here engage this this plate with the holes drilled in it here? There's actually pins that physically go into these holes and act like a brake. So when you hit the drive, you'll see these retract, right? And then the wheel can turn. But sometimes when you want to roll it, okay, you wouldn't be able to, say, hook up a tow line on this thing and just pull it, because the wheels wouldn't turn, right? So you have to get a wrench on these, right, and turn these blocks, and that'll pull these pins out of the wheels here on each side, right? Now, before you do that, you got to make sure you chalk your wheels, because if there's any kind of grade, it'll roll on you. Now, that's just one step in the process. What else we have to do here is, once these are pulled and into that position where the pins are retracted, there's a valve on the side that you actually have to open. Right? Then it allows the hydraulic fluid to flow, and then it'll actually roll. Right? And you could winch it up onto a deck or pull it out of some trouble spot that it's gotten into. Right? It's called freewheeling. It allows the wheels to freewheel. Right? This one now, this was inside the engine compartment on your last one. This is the kill switch or the night switch. Okay. So if you have it closed like that, you put a lock through it. Somebody comes up to it, they can't get it started. Right? Even if they had the key. All right, so that's definitely something you want to put in place if you were leaving it somewhere where, you know, an unauthorized person get onto it, like off-site, you know, kids get at it, whatever, that kind of thing. But while we're using it, we'll leave that open like so things will actually work. Okay, see this here, Ron? This is another thing that's unique to electric machines. Okay. This is a ground strap, okay? Since this thing is battery powered, right, all the batteries are grounded to the frame, but then the frame itself is grounded through this strap. So this way it doesn't, the unit itself doesn't build up any static charge from the batteries. So that, I don't know if you've ever been walking along a carpet and you go to touch a door handle or something metal, you know, oh, yeah, and you get that zap, right? Yeah. Well, you sure don't want that happening, especially with the voltage that, you know, this thing's carrying. So this strap is in contact with the ground all the time, and it always provides that path for electricity to, you know, leave the machine and go to ground. All right, another minor difference between this one and the one you learned on, Ron, is, you remember getting at your hydraulics on the rough terrain unit? Yep. Was just a couple of, you know, cabinet type doors that you open, and there everything was. Here you're on a tray, right? You have to pull that knob towards you, and this whole thing swings out. Right? Okay. So you can see you got your hour meter there. This is you know, your hydraulic reservoir. There's the site level glass there. So you can see this thing's full right up, as it should be. And then, you know, valve block assembly and pump and all that kind of thing. Okay. Same kind of stuff, although in the last one you were on, it was bigger, right? Yeah. But just, you know, slightly different way of getting at it. After you pull those blocks with a wrench, you have to come on and turn this valve, as you can see, you know, counterclockwise, to open it. And then it'll actually, see how it shows that when it's open like that, you can move it. Okay. Right? And then, of course, when you don't want it, you just shut it. Now, Ron, this isn't something you're going to do normally, all right? If it's ever in a place where, you know, you have to pull it out of a ditch or something like that, and you need it freewheel, you're probably likely to call service people and to come and help you, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just important that you know that it's just in a different location, and it's a slightly different procedure than the engine-powered unit that you were operating. Remember, the other one had torque hubs, right? And it was a different situation to get it to freewheel. That's how you do it on these electrics. Now, while we're here, though, here's another important valve right here. When you want your, what they call emergency lowering. So when this thing is up in the air, and let's say for some reason you or the operator that's up in the air can't bring it down for any reason, what you have to do is actually reach in there and turn that valve, that knob, okay, and open that valve. And then come over to this valve here, once that's open, and you just pull here. So that valve has to be open, and then you pull on this, and the platform will come down of it. lowered, right? You just have to remember to go back and shut that valve again if you want it to work, because now, you know, you'll hit the, you know, you want to go up and it won't do anything, okay? Okay, I'm just going to raise the platform on. Keep an eye on that pothole protection like I was saying, and you'll see there? See, look how close to the ground that gets, huh? Right, so you can see the idea, again, if you were driving along now with your platform elevated, if it went down into a dip, it wouldn't get far enough over to tip over. That would stop you, right? It's something you're seeing pretty much standard on all the slab units these days. Okay, well, while we've got it up here, let's demonstrate that manual lowering. So there's the valve in there that we have to open, okay? It's really easy to turn. Now it's open, so we'll come back over to this valve here. Now when I pull this, this should come down. So stay clear, and there we go. It's just coming down under gravity. Here's something you'll see even on the unit that you were using. This is our safety prop, right? Yep. Now remember, actually let's just open that again. If you were going to do some maintenance, you had this on your rough terrain, but just to demonstrate it on this one, we'll just lower it down right there. Okay, now it's set. You could reach in there now and be reasonably, you know, safe, that it's not going to collapse while you've got your arm in there and that type of thing. I still get nervous, even though I know that prop is in there. I still don't like reaching in there. So some more of the things, we're just getting ready to get on this thing. And just, again, just for review, Ron, fork pockets there. You see the little decal of the forklift? Yeah. Right, if we're going to move it with a forklift, that's where the forks go, not in the side, you know. The tie downs here, this is where you'd strap it down to the deck of your trailer. Okay, why don't you hop up there? And we'll talk about a few of the things on the platform. Okay, now this particular one, Ron, remember the last one you had, it was a door that just kind of slammed shut behind you? Yes. You got to remember, that's your mid-rail, right? So put that on whenever you're in, okay? Okay. Okay, you see here, Ron, that's what I was talking about earlier when I had the control panel down. It does come off of this. But again, I would recommend you just leave it there. It should be right over your steer tires like it is, you know? And again, facing forward, because, you know, when you push forward on this, right, it'll go that way when you come back. If you move where this control box is, you can get a little disoriented and could lead to trouble, right? So I would recommend you just leave it right here in place. There's the horn. Remember that was here on your other one? Right, here's the trigger enable here. That was also a button on the side here. And these switches, and you're already familiar with those, that switch between, you know, the drive mode, right? So when you got it over there, drive steer. When you're over here, it's lift and lower. It's the same control you'll use, so you can't do both at once. But that was the same on your other one, right? Yeah. Yes. Okay, and then of course we'll just leave it in high torque mode here, right? Okay. And yeah, there's your controls. It's pretty basic. Another important thing that might be different and is different. You might see the capacity decal down there. Yeah. So what's the maximum capacity? Can you tell me overall? Yeah, so 550 pounds. 550 pounds, right. And that's overall on the deck. Now you can see on the extended portion there, see? When you push it out, and you had a deck extension on your other one. Remember, you can push this whole thing out. You can see that you're only allowed 250 pounds on the extended part. 500 overall, but only 250. So in other words, me. Now your last unit, the RT, had an extendable deck, and so does this, right? But on the last one, you remember there was a couple of like hand levers here that you pushed in and you know, pushed the deck out. It actually retracted pins. Well, here the locking pins are here, and you have to manually pull them out. You see that? This one's a little trickier. I don't know why it's a little tighter. But you see now that the pins are out, this part of the platform will slide, and then you get this hole forward of the forward stanchion here, right? And you put the pin through again. And this thing will just barely tolerate my weight. As usual, when things are extended, we like to retract them as soon as we possibly can. So we got to pull the pins. There we go. Watch yourself now. Go. There you go. Okay, Ron, can you verbally run me through the freewheeling procedure on this unit? Yeah, the first thing I would do would be to block the wheels. Okay, you're right. Chalk them. Good. Next would be to retract these pins with the wrench. After that, come over here, and with the emergency release valve, right, I would open that, and then we're good to freely move the vehicle as we need. Okay, cool. What would you do to cause those that pothole protection to activate? Oh, the scissor mechanism would have to come up. Let's do it. There they go. They're down. Okay, good. All right, now if there was a problem and you had to get this thing, you had an operator up there in trouble, right? So he's lost power. Okay, how are you going to get him down? We'd use the emergency release. Good. I'd have to do this valve over here.
And that's when we give a pull.
Okay, let's do that.
Emergency release lever.
Awesome. Okay, good. All right, let's close that valve again. And what I'm going to get you to do now is if you had to, let's say you're doing your inspection and you've run up the platform and you see a bunch of stuff in there underneath within the scissor stack here, what are you going to do to safely reach in there and clean something out?
Put the emergency prop down.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, that should do it. Now if you slowly lower it down onto that, gravity should just put it in the right position. But yeah, it's always a good idea to check like you did there. To make sure it's not hung up or anything. Yeah, just ease it down. A little more. Looks like you're there. There you go. Okay, and since that capacity decal is right in front of you there, can you tell me how much weight I'm allowed when the platform is extended on the extended portion?
We have 250 pounds for a maximum.
Right. And overall?
550.
550, right on. Good man.